There was a time when school would end and we rushed back to our home to fire up our PCs running Windows XP just to play our favorite racing game and come in first. That excitement, that eagerness to get home, that feeling of pulling the handbrake at a top speed, we all miss it. Not anymore. Today I'll bring back a lot of memories down the lane where I would list the most nostalgic and favorite racing games of all time. Starting off with number 1, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. Man, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, that game was something else. I still remember the first time I played it. Just pure adrenaline from the start to finish. It wasn't just about racing fast, it's about the thrill of the chase. Whether you're racing trying to outrun the cops or the cops chasing you down speedsters, or every moment felt intense and alive. The way the game made you feel like there was some high-speed action move, that was magic. The cars were absolutely sick. I mean, who didn't want to jump into a Ferrari or Lamborghini and just tear up the road? And the tracks, wow, from sunny coastal highways to twisted mountain roads, each location had its own vibe and challenges. It wasn't just about speed, it's about skill, timing, and that rush when you nail the perfect drift or barely escape a police roadblock. But what really sticks with me is the feeling, the sound of the engine revving, tires screeching, that ironic soundtrack pumping you up. It's the kind of game that made you want to play just one more race, over and over again. Even now, years later, whenever I think of classic racing games, Hot Pursuit 2 is right there in the top of my list. It's just not a game, it's a memory, a vibe, a part of what made racing games so unforgettable for so many years. Number 2, Midnight Club Los Angeles. Midnight Club Los Angeles was a whole vibe. If you're into street racing games back in the day, you know what exactly I mean. The moment when you fired it up, you were dropped straight into a massive living version of LA, and it just felt so cool to cruise around, customize your ride, and challenge anyone you saw on the street. What's made the game stand out for me was the freedom. You could drive anywhere, take shortcuts, and find your own path throughout the city. The races were wild, dodging traffic, weaving throughout alleyways, and hitting those insane jumps that made your heart race. And the car customization, next level. I spent hours tweaking every little detail, making sure my car looked just right before taking out to show off on the boulevard. But honestly, it was more than just cars or the city. It was the atmosphere, the neon lights, the thumping soundtrack, feeling of being a part of the underground racing scene. It made every race feel personal, like you had something to prove every time you had lined up to the start. Even now, thinking about bringing those late nights spent tearing down through virtual LA, it brings back so many memories. Midnight Club Los Angeles wasn't just a game, it was an experience. And for a lot of us, it's still a gold standard for open world street racing game. Next up, we have Burnout 3 Takedown. Now, this was a pure chaos in the best possible way. If you have played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This wasn't just about crossing the finish line first, it's about causing absolute mayhem on the road and loving every second of. The crashes were legendary. There was nothing more satisfying than slamming your rival into a wall at full speed and watching the slow motion carnage unfold. Every race felt like a battle, where you weren't just racing against other cars, but actively trying to take them out. And those takedowns, man, they never get old. The game just nailed the feeling of adrenaline and payback. But Burnout 3 wasn't just about destruction. The sense of speed was insane, blurring past traffic, trading the needle between cars, and hitting boosts that made your palms sweat. The soundtrack was full of bangers that got you hyped for every race, and the game modes kept things fresh, whether you were going for a perfect run or just trying to cause the biggest crash possible in the crash mode. For a lot of us, Burnout 3 Takedown is the reason we fell in love with arcade racing. It was wild, it was fast, it was ridiculously fun. Even now, nothing else captured the same rush. It's one of those games you'll always remember because it made every race unforgettable. Next up on the list, it's Split Second. Split Second was just another level when it comes to racing games. It wasn't enough to be just fast. You had to be smart, sneaky, and always ready for absolute chaos. The first time I played it, I couldn't believe how intense it felt. You're racing at full speed, heart pounding, and suddenly the entire track explodes. Literally. Building collapses, bridges blows up, plane crash onto the runway, and you're dodging debris while trying to keep your lead. It was like being inside an action movie every single race. The best part? You could trigger all that mayhem yourself. With every drift and draft, you fill up with the power meter and then boom, you set off traps that would completely change the read in an instant. It wasn't just about skill behind the wheel, but the timing your attacks perfectly to take out the rivals right when they thought they were winning in the back. And the tracks, man, they were unforgettable. Each one had its own crazy set pieces and shortcuts that discovered after dozens of races. No two laps ever felt the same because you never knew what's going to explode next. Split Second was one of those games that made you jump out of a seat and yell at the screen, whether you're winning or getting wrecked at the last second. It was wild, unpredictable, it's just ridiculously fun. Even now, it's one of those racing games I still wish I could make a comeback because nothing else has ever captured that explosive edge of a seat action quite like it. Next up, we have Need for Speed Underground 2. Need for Speed Underground 2 was the ultimate street racing fantasy for so many of. The moment you fired up the game, you were dropped into a neon-lit city of Bayview where every corner felt alive and every street was a new opportunity to show off your ride. What made Underground 2 special wasn't just racing, it was the freedom. You could cruise around the open world, discover hidden races, and challenge rivals to the outrun whenever you want. It felt like you really a part of an underground racing scene, haunting for the next big event or just flexing your custom car on the boulevard. And let's talk about the customization. Underground 2 took it to a whole new level. You could tweak almost every part of your car. Bumpers, spoilers, hood, neon underglows, rims, and even the sound system in your truck. It was all about making your ride unique and earning the respect on the street. Winning races wasn't just about being the fastest, it's about style too. The more you upgrade your car looks, the more attention you get, and that felt amazing. The variety of race types kept things fresh. Drift events, drag race, sprints, circuitaries, and the intense underground racing league tournament each had its own vibe and challenges, and mastering them all was a badge of honor. Plus, the city itself was packed with shortcuts, hidden cache, surprises, and that made exploring just fun as a racing. For a lot of us, Underground 2 wasn't just a game, it was an era. The soundtrack, the visuals, the feeling of freedom and creativity, it all came together to create something unforgettable. Even today, the memories of late night race through Bayview and the endless hours spent perfecting our car still hit hard. It's no wonder Underground 2 is still talked about as one of the greatest racing games ever made. Next up on the list is Test Drive Ultimate. It was a game that felt like a breath of fresh air for racing fans back in the day. It wasn't just about racing from point A to point B. It's about exploring this massive, beautiful open world model after the Hawaiian island of Oahu. I remember how incredible it felt just to jump in and drive anywhere you wanted, and whether that was winding through rainforest, cruising along sandy beaches, or tearing through the city streets of Honolulu. It gave you that amazing sense of freedom that few racing games had at the time. What really made Test Drive Ultimate stand out as how it blended racing with lifestyle. You didn't just buy cars, you bought houses, customized a ride, and even interact with other players in seamlessly online world that felt alive. The multiplayer wasn't just an add-on, it was baked into everything, making every race or meetup feel spontaneous and social. It was just being a part of a real racing community. The variety of cars were impressive too, from sleek sports car to powerful motorcycles, and the way the game let you customize and upgrade them made every vehicle feel personal. Plus, the mix on-road and off-road driving kept things exciting. You could challenge yourself to a mountain trails or push your car to the limit on the highways. For me, Test Drive Ultimate wasn't just a racing game, it was an experience. It captured the thrill of open world and joy of discover wrapped into the world that felt alive and inviting. Even years later, is one of those games still bring back memories of endless driving, epic races, and the freedom to just go wherever the road took you. Next up, we have Blur. Blur was such a wide ride and honestly one of the most fun racing games I've ever played. It took everything we loved about arcade racing and cranked it up with crazy power-ups and explosive action that kept you on the edge of your seat. It wasn't just about being the fastest, it's about being outsmarting your opponent with rockets, mines, shields, and all sort of crazy weapons that turned every race into a chaotic battle. What I love most about how intense and unpredictable the races got. One moment you're speeding ahead and the next you're dodging a missile or launching a power-up to take down the leader. The tracks were vibrant and packed up with twists and turns and shortcuts that made every lap feel fresh and exciting. Plus, the car handles beautifully, fast, responsive, and perfect for pulling up those clutch movements when it mattered the most. Blur also had that awesome multiplayer vibe. Whether you're playing with your friends or jumping into online matches, the competition was fierce and the fun never stopped. It was that kind of a game that made you keep racing just one more round because every race was a new chance to prove yourself. For me, Blur was more than just a racing game. It was an electrifying experience full of speed, strategy, and pure adrenaline. Even now, thinking back, those frantic explosive races bring a huge smile to my face. It's a game that really knows how to mix fun and chaos perfectly, and that's why it still holds a special place in the heart of racing fans everywhere. Next up on the list is Need for Speed Carbon. Need for Speed Carbon is one of those racing games that really stuck with me because it brought a fresh twist to the classic street racing formula. What I like most about how it made every race feel like a high-stake battle for territory. Instead of just racing for trophies, you were out to own the city, recruiting wingmen and taking over rival crews' turf. That added a whole new layer of strategy and crew dynamics that made the game feel alive and potent. The canyon races were totally a game changer. Those tight, dangerous mountain roads where every corner could mean victory or disaster gave the game an edge that felt both thrilling and nerve-wracking. I remember gripping the controller tight, trying not to crash throughout those destructible guardrails while battling it out in duels. It was intense and so satisfying when you pulled off a win. The car classes, Turners, Muscles, and Exotic each had their own unique feel, which made me choosing your rider a real decision. Turners handled like a dream on twisty routes, Muscle cars had the raw power and acceleration, and exotics were all about top speed and style. Plus, the customization was insane. The Ostoculp feature let you tweak your car body in a way that made your ride truly your own, and layering vinyls and decals gave them endless possibilities to stand out. And of course, the police chases were as thrilling as ever, with spike strips, roadblocks, and those epic pursuit breakers that could totally change the tide of a chase. But Carbon balanced the cops better than before, so never it felt unfair, just pure rush. For me, Need for Speed Carbon wasn't just another racing game. It was a true experience that combined speed, style, and strategy. It captured the underground racing vibe perfectly, and even years later, it's a game I think about wherever I want to rush into street gaming nostalgia. Next up on the list is Gran Turismo 4. Gran Turismo 4 is one of those games that truly capture the imagination of car lovers and racing fans alike. For so many of us, it was the first time a game made us feel like we're really behind the wheel of hundreds of different cars, from humble hatchbacks to legendary supercars. The sheer variety was mind-blowing. You could race everything from a classic 2CV to a Formula 1 car, and every vehicle felt unique in its own way. What made GT4 special wasn't just a massive car list or the beautiful graphics for its time, but the way it encouraged you to learn the art of driving. Those license tests were a rite of passage, sometimes frustrating, always rewarding, and they taught you everything from breakpoints to perfect racing light. The tracks were just memorable, with iconic circuits and creative scenes that took you from city streets to mountain passes. There were a real sense of progress and achievement as you work your way out through the career mode, earning credits, collecting dream cars, and unlocking new challenges. And for the creative types, photo mode let you take your favorite cars and snap stunning shots in locations like Grand Canyon or Las Vegas, showing off your collection in style. Sure, the AI had its issues, sometimes treating you like you were invisible and sticking you out of the racing lines or no matter what, but that never took you away the thrill of mastering each track and build your own garage. Gran Turismo 4 wasn't just a racing game, it was a love letter to the car culture, and for many of us, it's still a gold standard for what racing sim can be. Next up on the list is Grid. Grid, the original 2008 release, was one of those racing games that just felt different from the moment you jump in it. It wasn't just about collecting hundreds of cars or tuning every little detail, it was about pure competitive racing where every event felt unpredictable and alive. The AI was seriously impressive for its time. Other drivers would make mistakes, spit out or even crash spectacularly, making every race feel like anything could happen. You never knew if dodging a pileup or fighting for the lead right up to the last corner. What really made Grid stand out was the focus on intense edge of your seat action. The damage modeling was awesome. Cars would get banged up, lose parts, and you would actually feel the impact in how your car handled. And if you messed up, the game introduced the rewind feature, letting you turn back time for another shot at the tricky corner, a total lifesaver. The variety of race types kept things fresh, from classic circuitaries to wild demolition derbies and the legendary 24-hour of Le Mans event. Plus, it started out racing powerful cars like Mustangs and Vipers, so the action was fast and challenging right from the beginning. Every win felt earned and every loss pushed you to get better. For a lot of us, Grid was a game that proved racing could be both accessible and thrilling, with just the right mix of arcade fun and realistic challenge. It's one of those titles you remember for close call, the epic comebacks, and sheer unpredictability of every racing game. Next up on the list is Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012. NFS Most Wanted 2012 was a Criterion game fresh taken on the beloved street racing, bringing this signature high-octane open-world style franchise. Unlike the 2005 original, the 2012 version dropped into a city of fair heaven where the goal was simple: become the most wanted by taking down the list of top racers and outsmarting relentless police in chaotic and action-packed chases. What set the game apart was its seamlessly blend exploration and competition. You could drive any car you find in the world, no unlocking required, making every discovery exciting. The game was all about freedom: hit, jump, blast through shortcuts, and use cars' unique strength to outmaneuver rivals and cops alike. Criterion's signature crash physics and fast-paced gameplay made every pursuit feel intense and unpredictable, especially in multiplayer where friends could challenge each other for bragging rights. While it didn't have the deep story or blacklist system on the 2005 classic, Most Wanted 2012 delivered pure adrenaline-fueled fun and remained a favorite for fans who love open world and chaos and fast, accessible racing. Last but not the least, and probably the most favorite racing game of all time, Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005. NFS Most Wanted 2005 is often hailed as the all-time favorite racing game for many good reasons. From a fan's perspective, it's perfectly blend high-speed street racing with a heart-pumping thrill of police pursuit, creating an experience that felt both intense and immersive. Open-world city of Rockport was a playground where you could explore freely, hunt down rivals on the blacklist, and constantly feel the pressure of the law closing in. What made Most Wanted unforgettable wasn't just the raid themselves, but the cat and mouse dynamic with cops. The pursuit system was next level. Police using roadblocks, spike strips, helicopters, and even special tactics that made every chase unpredictable and heart racing. Escaping the heat wasn't easy. You had to be smart, use the environment, and sometimes trigger pursuit breakers, like a gas station or billboards, to take down cops in a spectacular fashion. The career mode hooked you from the start, as you climbed up the blacklist by beating each rival in a mix of race types, circuits, sprints, drag races, and unique checkpoint challenges like tool booths and speed traps. The story added extra flavor with memorable characters like Razor and Mia, and that iconic moment when you lose your car and have to fight your way back to the top. It wasn't just about speed, it's about repetition, strategy, and street cred. Customization was solid, letting you upgrade, personalize your ride, which made winning feel even sweeter. Plus, the game's soundtrack and atmosphere perfectly captured the underground racing vibe we all love. For many of us, NFS Most Wanted 2005 wasn't just a game. It was an unforgettable rush of speed, danger, and rebellion that still stands as a defining moment in the racing game history. Do put down in the comment section which is your all-time favorite racing games ever.